Hey everyone, how are you today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Sonia here, and thank you so much for joining me today. So, I was sitting here this morning getting a few things done and then thinking about where I want to go and what's next. And, all of that starts with putting 2023 in a nice little box with a bow and putting it to the side so I can focus on where I need to go. Um, Literally, it's a wrap, folks. There is nothing left of 2023. You are, let me rephrase that. I am recording this video on December 27th, 2023. There's 3 or 4 days left. By the time this gets uploaded and then shared and you come across it, there's only going to be a couple of days left in 2023. It's perfect time for miracles and magic to happen, right? But then we have a whole new book with many blank chapters and many blank pages sitting there in front of us. And today that's what we're going to talk about. This is episode 168. And welcome, welcome. So, how are you? How was Christmas? How are the holidays this year? What was different about it? Because we talked about this a couple of episodes ago, and if it wasn't here, it would have been on one of my lives. Um, but it's about how different isn't bad. Different is simply different. It's as simple as that. It's just different. So when we are trying a new tradition or we're trying to fill a void because maybe we don't have all of our loved ones around us for the holidays, or maybe the work schedule is different, or maybe because of finances, there had to be a shift. Um, Whatever it was, something has made this Christmas different. Maybe there was no snow, so it wasn't as bright outside and you had to make your own magic internally. Maybe you're just another year older and another year more tired and another year more exhausted. Whatever it is, your Christmas, I'm sure, in some way was a little bit different than what it's been in the past. And how was that different? What was different? Were the meals different? Was the environment different? Were people happier? I'm not worried about other people. I'm worried about you. But when I say people happier, I mean, we normally reflect the space that we're in. So if people are genuinely happy and you are surrounding yourself with happiness, that's going to that's going to help me indirectly give you a gauge so you can see where you're at right here, right now. This is how I can coach you remotely to check in with yourself. These feelings that you're feeling right now as you're thinking about this, good. I want you to write them down today. I want you to grab that pen and paper, have it handy, and write down what pops up or screenshots. That's what I used to do. I would screenshot right where I'm at if I'm listening to the audio. You can do the same thing when you're catching the YouTube. You can screenshot it and then you'll have an idea where to pick back up to circle back to get this message or to get anything that you like. That's a tip for me. Our Christmas was different in many little ways. Brooke is still in the States. She's an au pair. I don't know, for those of you that don't know, she did decided to be an au pair in the States earlier this year. And this is a journey that's about a year long. And she's enjoying it. She's doing it. She's having fun. She's going to different states. She's experimenting and learning and educating herself with different parts of life. So I'm not going to be upset with her for not making it home for Christmas. It just, she's a responsible child. And if it didn't make sense, it didn't make sense, right? But I had to adapt to that. So I didn't have my baby with me, although we were able to FaceTime, thankfully, a couple of times over a couple of days. And that just was perfect. So of all of the 5 kids, we had one missing. That's okay. We had to rearrange the time, right? Christmas morning used to be Christmas morning when the kids were little, and then now suddenly it's Christmas afternoon, but it's also Christmas Eve. We hosted both, and it was the same set of people. We had my aunt come over Christmas Eve, and that was really nice. She's also my godmother, and we always have a connection, just a little connection. So that was different a little bit. Remember, I am still on my healing journey. I am still working on taking care of myself because I don't see the neurologist until the end of January. January is a big month for me, but we're going to talk about that in a second. And this is why I wanted to talk about this today. And I'm sharing some of my examples, but as I'm sharing these, lean into what works for you. How was 2023 a wrap? We just shared about where some of the differences were with Christmas. But in all honesty, how was it a wrap? Because what was different? Think about the areas of meals, movement, mindset, your relationship with money. If you don't know where to start, think about each month. Go back each month and think about, oh, what happened in that month? Or what were some of the big things that happened? I encourage you to write these down. Write them down however you want. Give yourself space to be creative so you can see what feelings come up with those things. Because again, just because these items came up over the year, do we need to add to them whether they were good or bad, or were they simply experiences when you go back and look at the highlights of the year? So that's huge. That I want you to do. I would love to have you guys do that and let me know. Just send me a quick message somewhere on my social saying, hey, I reflected on 2023. I created my difference list, or whatever you want to call it. I'm actually going to call it the difference list, and I am making a note and writing this down for those that are catching the YouTube here. Difference. So I can make sure I talk about this on here. So, before we can decide to be that girl in 2024, we need to know who that girl is. We need to know who she's stepping into. We need to know how she dresses and how she feels and how she does her hair and how she makes decisions. And we need to have that fundamental foundation of confidence and clarity before we can move forward, right? So it starts by reflecting on the past. For those that are catching this in time, which you probably won't, so I won't even talk to, well, yeah, I'm going to share it. I will be throwing out there this week a workshop. It's called the Goldilocks Approach to Planning. I'm doing this one tomorrow, actually, but again, the timing is going to be off. But you can still catch the recording. You can DM me or send me a message on Facebook, but ultimately go to my link tree and do that link, the Goldilocks Approach, and I will try to put it in here. You can still catch the recording. And this is what we talk about. We talk about taking your dreams and your goals for 2024 and rolling them out in a way that makes sense, small, obtainable, actionable goals. And I teach you how to get started and time block and break it all down. So every day you can live with intention, but you're not doing the hard work every day. You've created so much space in your day to be effective that you have space for creativity. You have space for personal development. You have space for your loved ones. You have space to exercise. You are designing your life your way, and this is how it starts. So, yeah, let's talk about this. And it's a little bit, again, you need to know what was different about this year. You need to know what the highlights were. You need to know wins, losses, because with the losses, you can send a thank you letter. You can burn it later. Just a letter about your feelings and releasing and trusting and surrendering. With your wins, you can appreciate the work that you did to contribute to that. There's this is a powerful exercise. And what other ways would you say it's a wrap when it comes to 2023? I'm just thinking for a second. I'm actually making a note first. Okay. Let's step aside, the social stuff about losing weight and about saving all of this money and coming up with the plan and jumping into such a solid structure overnight. And that's what we do, right? We do this on New Year's. We do this when we're trying to reset. We throw out all of the junk food. We bring out the skinny jeans so we have motivation. We meal prep and plan our walks and plan our runs and track our macros. And that's just on the health side. And we all know what we do in one area of our life, we do in other areas of your life. So I can guarantee you, even subconsciously, you're duplicating that effort, that exact effort in a different area of your life without realizing it. It could be finances. It could be fitness, right? It could be health. And then what you're doing in meals, you're doing for fitness. It could be the way you're cleaning the house. It could be the way you're showing up for work. It could be the way you're handling your personal development or any other outwardly expectations. Is that what you want for 2024? Does that work for you? These are some of the things I'm reflecting on this year. I'm reflecting about how different Christmas was, but it was nice. It was still really, really nice. And I'm reflecting how far I've come with my health and the fact that I was able to have a couple of good days, maybe 3 or 4 good days. I'm going to actually go and have coffee with my girlfriends a little bit later today. So that too, we're extending my stretch of health, and that's something, dealing with my health and having rest as a priority for me. It's weird. I'm going to say it's weird. We're raised in a culture, in a society, and I just turned 50 this year. So to give you an idea where I'm at. So I'm a Gen Xer, right? Gen Xer. Yeah, I am a Gen Xer, but I'm on the really young side. And we were raised with extreme work ethic. We were raised with working mothers. We were raised with working parents. We were raised with making choices. We were raised with doing whatever it takes to make it work. And once you get your stuff worked, you go see what the neighbors need, or you go see how you can help somebody else. You always have room for more. You can always give more, do more, try a little harder. That's the generation. We saw this in our households being raised. We saw this in the way the workforce talked to everybody during this period of time. It's not just in one, and the scholastic systems did the same thing, right? We were put in categories, we were labeled, and none of these things are bad, but how is it different? And tying that all together with the person that you want to be this time next year. We talked about losses a few minutes ago, and how about the people that have come and gone in your life, whether permanently, they've moved to the next level, they've died perhaps, or maybe you've had to let them go. How has that impacted you? Those things have happened in my life, and with some of them are closer than others. And I've got one really, really close friend right now who this is her last Christmas, and that too makes me think differently. Again, thinking differently isn't good or bad, right? And I want you to think about all of the areas of your life. So pretty much do the highlight reel of your life, the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay, you still do this. Take the time to explore this piece. Write out, think about, see what surfaces, go for a walk, let this sit in your mind. But just when ideas come up, write it on your difference list somehow. And now step away from that. Okay, so just that's kind of sitting in your mind, floating. But when you're done that exercise, completely step away from it. Because in order to appreciate everything, not only do we want to look at it, but we also know what we're going to take from that information and how where we're going to apply it moving forward. So when we wrap up 2023, one of the things that'll come up, especially near the end of this work, is what is all of this for? What is the ultimate goal? You are basing your feedback on something. So is that towards a goal? In most cases, it will be towards some sort of goal: financial health, independent, time freedom, elevated finances, balanced health. For me, it's all three, and I have the time freedom right now. I do. So I need to work on getting those other two in while maintaining that time freedom. My health can change very quickly with the help of a neurologist, but I also want to have the right things in place. So A, I can handle whatever changes come my way, and B, I can ease into it. Because I've been in this space of healing for 9 months now, going on 10 months now. Like in January, it'd be 10 months. Guys, this isn't easy. So many other parts of my life, though, have benefited from this. So we are gauging our thoughts on something. What is that something? What is that goal? Again, the typical areas I like to base mine on are elevated finances. Am I ahead, behind, on schedule? Where am I for my elevated finance goal? And really, what does that mean to me? So take the time to dissect that if you haven't. It may have changed to what it would have been in the past. Achieving time freedom. What does that mean? It's going to mean something different to me than than the version of me 5 years ago, than the version of me 5 years from now. It's going to be completely different for you. Okay. All of these things will be completely different for everybody, but time freedom, right? And then balanced health. These are some ideas for some categories, but you might have spirituality. What's changed? You might have, you might break it right down to nutrition or your bank account, like specifics. Remember, when it comes to law of attraction, when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to bringing in whatever you want, if you don't believe yet on your specific goal, you need to take a step back and make it more broad. Okay, so you don't get hung up on the specifics. Because if there are so many variables, it's so much better to take it back and and visualize and think about a broader goal in that same area versus a specific goal. That's a game changer. So what is your broad goal that you're working towards, that you are using as a benchmark towards whether or not things were a win or a loss for 2023 versus different is good, bad, ugly, or whatever it might be? Yeah. How else would you wrap up 2023? I'm thinking about all the times I got to wear pretty dresses. I got to think about what it was like this time last year. And when we were planning to go out for New Year's last year, and I remember Tony made a comment about, it was like a snarky comment about dancing. And I think I just kind of felt my little dancing groove, but he wasn't feeling it. And I think he kind of apologized for not being the version of him I think he thought I expected him to be, if that makes sense. Like, sorry, I'm not taking out dancing or something like that. Like I said, it was snarky, but I didn't really feel like dancing. I was just dancing in the moment. But yet, going back now and thinking of that, it was such a needless moment. And this is what growth looks like. It was such a needless moment at that time to think of what happened throughout the year and how I may not have necessarily made it with my blood pressure this high. I am seeing this as a very lucky experience. Back in May, when I went into the hospital with a headache, my blood pressure was over 220. They kept me for a week because of the pain in my head. And that's where it's been discovered that I have neuralgia, which is inflamed nerves in my head. I have it in 2 spots, trigeminal and occipital. It's taken me a long time to say that word. You know, my job was impacted, my rental property was impacted, and we're still working on the sale of that happening soon. Because financially, the only thing I can do is work on my business and build this, but part-time, because I need to take care of my health. It's a priority now. So now we found out about a month ago that there's like a disassociated vein in my head, and one of the branches of the vein has landed on the trigeminal nerve. Perhaps the same thing has happened to the occipital. So I haven't been as consistent for the last year as I would have liked. How have I showed up for myself differently? When it comes back to thinking of that New Year's Eve conversation from last year, it was so needless. And I don't resent any minute. I'm not upset with him. Nothing happened. Like there was nothing like that, but I'm able to remember it. So it obviously had an impact. But here's my takeaway. I am not going to be having those needless conversations with people moving forward. It won't be seen as that, right? It won't be, it's a game changer once you've been sick, once you know people that have left. It's a game changer. And those things don't bother you because you don't want to make a molehill a mountain. Those things don't bother you anymore because they're really not important. Anybody that's close to you never wants to hurt you. Anybody that truly loves you never wants to hurt you. And I'm going to talk to the people out there for 1 second who have had emotional abuse, who have had any other kind of abuse. I promise you, anybody that loves you will never hurt you. They never have an intention to hurt you. Take a step back. Would you intentionally hurt somebody you loved? Right? We don't. We, as a natural, normal human beings, we don't think like that. Okay? We have moments, but we will likely hurt ourselves first, not other people. Somebody that has hurt you in the past did not truly love you, and your love is out there waiting for you. Yes, there's just sick people. There's a few of those people. We're not even going to get into that. But at the end of the day, you will find that love that you're looking for. I promise you. You'll come out of it. It'll look different. And if you want a little bit more about my story, which I'm not getting into right now, it's not important at this particular moment. It's part of my past. It's part of what made me me. It's part of who the person who you see in front of you. But it took me a long time to get there. And now I can take accountability for being naive. I can take accountability for the acceptance. I can take the accountability for the fact that I thought this was all I deserved. Bigger picture, I can be so happy, grateful, and thankful for the experience and that it happened to me because I was strong enough to handle it. I was strong enough to handle it. Helps me think differently in 2023. Who would have thought? This is one of the things I love, right? When I go back and circle back on these videos and come across them, I am so thankful I've done them. I see the growth. I see all of the little changes, the comfort, the fact that I can just be me in front of the camera now. Even the comfort from, oh, I was just doing this on Audible before and just only the that piece, but I wasn't doing the video component. And even now I'm showing up in a t-shirt and I don't even think I'm wearing foundation or anything like that. A little bit of stuff on my lips and my mascara. And for those that are listening to this, I just rummaged my fingers through my hair, and I do have a really, really cute Christmas shirt on. See, and this beautiful clock that we have in our kitchen. It says, "Time with family is well spent. Is time well spent?" It's this beautiful family clock for us here. I'm not in the office. There's not a row of books behind me. Honestly, I've got my chai tea. So yeah, chai. Right here in front of me in my favorite cup. And I've come a long way. And this too is what growth looks like. Right? So, so good. I'm going to actually kick my dog out of my spot on the couch in a few minutes. And I'm going to rest. I'm going to lay my head down and maybe read for a little bit, because if I'm going out with girlfriends, this is what I have to do in order to manage my energy. You guys might see me here showing up for a few minutes, but you don't know what looks like behind the scenes. And that's the interesting part, because I've learned a lot of what it's like for others behind the scenes for them too. You think differently when you go back and you look on your growth. You think differently when you don't add, when you just look at things. When you take the good or bad or the ugly away from the equation, you look at things differently. And it's amazing when you can notice your growth and your awareness. When your awareness grows over and over again, even going for a walk is a different perspective every single day. And it's really hard to explain, but it's something my clients experience when they're with me. So how else would you wrap up 2023? I had a lot. I had a lot. I've learned to love myself more. I've learned how much I value downtime and how necessary it is for me. I've learned to be creative, both with my clothes and with my like arts and crafts and creativity. I've read, I've rested. 2023 changed me in so many ways. I think I can't believe the shift even with my own family, and we were tight before, but it's a different kind of tightness now. Yeah. Thankful that my dad's here for another year. Last year, this time he was fighting stage 4 lymphoma, that he had been diagnosed with a couple months prior. It was a major, major success. So how would you wrap up 2023? We had so many wins when we think about it. What's on your difference list? What was different? And what, take that difference list, and now we're going to look at slowly the next piece. And the next piece is, what is on your vision board? So I'm not going to take you to my vision board right now, but I know there is a lady at a desk, and it looked like she's writing her story or working on her book. There's views of the ocean or the water, and in a couple spots with mirrors there. There's one picture of a couple holding hands, not looking, like we got their backs to them. There's a lady with blonde, wavy hair, sandy blonde like mine, walking her dog, but the same color as Hannah, playing with her on the beach with the waves. There is a picture of a woman sitting on a swing outside in a dress. I'm trying to think of what else is on here. Traveling. There are 2 or 3 traveling pictures. What's on your vision board? The most recent vision board that you have, what is on it? Now, write down the 2 or 3 categories, write down what they look like. I can tell you, if I play my cards right, I could possibly, I say play my cards, but you all know what that means. It means showing up each day and doing the work, the manifesting, the visualization, the journaling, the reflecting, the meditation, the yoga, the work that doesn't feel like work, the work that helps you flow through your day, the work that's actually the difference maker, but it's not, because you don't realize it. You just do it. So doing that is doing the work. Doing that is the taking care of yourself, and the self-care and the self-love. It just looks differently. So it gives you a goal to reach 2024. So if take the things on your vision board, know that you're going to do the work, figure out the topic. So if I bought a cottage, which is one of my dreams, I want to buy a cottage that I can use as a retreat. And I also might Airbnb it out. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But we'll see, because if I can do regular retreats there, that's all I want to really use it for, us and retreats. And this is a cottage that I want to leave as a legacy for my family, all of my family, all of our 5 kids. So no matter what's going on in their life, they can always take a step away and have a mini vacation. Always. And the 5 of them are going to have shared custody of this when something happens. And I want them to go and make memories with their families and their loved ones. And no matter what financially stage they're at, they can either use this to share the feeling with other people, or rent it out, right? Bring friends and family in, rent it out, whatever it looks like, but it stays in the family. It's part of my legacy. And I see myself sitting in this space and working with clients as I'm looking out into the water. And I feel it in my bones. I feel the vision of Hannah and I going for the walk on the beach. Some of the other things, like I said, the swinging in the dress, I feel as well. So I'm able to step into this energetically. So the time freedom piece works. So financially, how am I going to make this work? Right. And the balanced health. How am I going to make this work financially where I can keep up with my health so I can continue to have the time freedom that I want? To see how this is all rolling into a bit of a storyline now, but I have an area to work on. So we need to do this work, even subconsciously, even having this conversation or this dialogue in your ear while you're doing things before we can plan our 2024. Yeah. So we need to identify our difference lists. We need to take a look at our vision board. We need to let whatever 2023 go, because literally it's a wrap, folks. We're done with it. I hope you feel good for what you've accomplished. And if you're ready to start having these feel good moments, follow for more. You're definitely going to want to follow, like, subscribe, hang out with me a little bit more. We've got some groups going on and workshops, lots of great stuff going on that just fits right into your schedule. It's the missing piece, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Okay. How are you wrapping up 2023? Are you celebrating? Are you going out? What's different this year? You know, maybe your goal is to drink less. I mean, that's one of the things that happened as a side effect for my health. I didn't drink a lot before, but I would sometimes go a little overboard. I'm trying to think, sometimes I'd go overboard, but it's not like I would have it very often. But now I don't crave booze at all. Like, that's completely changed. I don't even think I had a glass at Christmas. I had a couple sips. It's changed. That I couldn't have predicted that in a million years because it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't something that was on my mind. You know how food's on your mind whenever you eat sugar and your body screams at you? I didn't notice. It didn't really bother me. I didn't even see it. So I didn't really miss it. Think about what else is different, but you need to put this kind of in order and see what comes up and let life surprise you. And again, if you're thinking of giving up alcohol, why would you go out to a great big party on New Year's Eve, right? You might change your mind and stay in. It might be your day with reflection. Years ago, I used to find runs to do on New Year's Eve on New Year's Day, which meant I would stay home and relatively eat healthy on New Year's Eve and go to bed at a good time so I could get up and be at my run the next day. There's things you can do. Or one New Year's, the girls and I spent time on an ice rink with a campfire near there, and it was just fine. It was different. Seeing the ice skating happening on the ice rink with a bonfire on New Year's Eve with the snow everywhere. Yeah, who gets to experience that? Or ice skating in Toronto. Simple moments at home. Whatever it is to you, do yourself a favor. Romanticize it. Enjoy every minute of it, because that time is time well spent. That time is how you are wrapping up 2023. I don't care if Tony and I binge watch Castle right now on the couch, because that's the show that we're on too. That's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I know I can't do loud music right now. I know I can't go to the movies right now. Anything loud and noisy, I just want to maintain what is working right now. So yeah, I'm okay with us watching that if we don't fall asleep. Normally in the past, that wouldn't have been me, but that's the me I'm at where I'm at right now. And I'm meeting myself where I'm at. So I can comfortably wrap up 2023, because you know what? I am going to be that girl in 2024. That girl whose name gets whispered in rooms I have yet to enter, right? Who leaves an impact. That girl who helps other girls step into their creativity and their confidence and owning who they are. Yeah, that I want to be that coach that empowers so much self-love that you are teaching the world how to love you, and you're learning all of this by really following my journey. Yeah, and joining along when you feel inspired. All right, guys, this is it. This is my 2023 wrap up. Thank you so much for following along. Some of you have been with me for 4 years, some of you for 4 months, and for some of you, this might be your very first time coming across this video. Thank you. All right, sending you so much love and joy. All of my social links will be in the show notes here. You can go to my link tree, go to my website, freshapproachfitness.com. I think I'll be making some changes to that in 2024, but I haven't landed on that yet. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I do have an ask before we sign off for 2023. If you liked anything that you heard today, will you please do a review? I know I have reviews scattered everywhere, some on Google, some on Spotify, some on Apple. So that means it doesn't look like I have a laundry list of them in one spot. So if you could, iTunes, YouTube, podcasts, however you find this, if you could please go and do a review on your platform, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. May 2024 bring you the most amazing magic and miracles in the highest good of all.